when it's all said and done, it's a nice chair, and it'll just spin on you. Yeah.
Family, art, and passion are what is on display at the Waterloo 7 Studio Gallery. This art gallery and studio is where master works of art are created by second-generation metal sculptor Jerry Schmidt. Jerry is not alone. He is making it a family affair that spans 4 generations, including his father, his son, and his grandchildren. I had the rare opportunity to join Jerry in his studio and find out what it takes to build a successful art gallery and family business.
Jerry Schmidt, Waterloo 7 Studio Gallery.
What product or services do you guys provide here?
I do abstract metal sculpting.
What's the difference between that and other types of sculpture?
There's people that do bronze casting. There's people that work with clay. There's so many different types of sculpting that people work with. But the end product is what matters. That's what I really enjoy about it. This piece here is called Faith. This piece is called, it's more of a juggler, the juggler. When it's all said and done, it's a nice chair, and it'll just spin on you. Yeah.
Every piece is unique. There is no kind of cookie cutter kind of piece of artwork in this studio, I'd imagine. Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, every piece has its own identity. That's the beauty of it. And every piece has a reason. There's a reason behind it. Faith is a survival. What she's doing, what this is all about, is she's kind of stepping out of a new life, and she's survived cancer.
What is a day like, a typical day like in the shop when you come in? I know you mentioned, you know, kind of coming in here, there's a certain freedom to it, but how do you get your day started once you come into the shop?
Unless I'm specifically working on something, there's really no plan. And I have so many options to go on. As we said, we have a 66 Avion camper out there. I have a 52 B3B truck. I have my sculptures I get to work on. So it's like, maybe I might stop at that front of that door and look in here and say, what do I want to work on? I have somewhat of an idea, because I did play around with it a little bit, and we're going to give this a try and see what we can come out with. When I start working on a piece itself, again, that's where I go into this blackout, and then I really just go right into it, and I start to figure what needs to go next. I'm going to kind of just go with it, go with the flow. Go around it. Look how fun. We have our 7 rings and our 1 horseshoe, which makes the final piece.
What do you call it?
What do I call it? I call it, I mean, you know, I mean, it's just, there's just a lot of luck, a lot of love, a lot of passion. I think that's what we call it, is passion.
Seeing some of the work that's in this studio, I would have to imagine there's a pretty amazing sense of accomplishment building and putting together some of these things. Would that be an accurate statement?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the most important thing about what you just said is, you know, working with 4 generations of sculptors. And I have all 4 of us in the studio. I have pieces that go back all the way back into the early 60s of my father's, to my grandson's most recent part, you know, to my son's most recent piece, I'm sorry. I see the similarities to all of our pieces, to all of our works. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see these similarities. And knowing that when they get the same thing out of it, when they're done with the piece, I watch the expressions on their face, and then the titles come up. You know, and that's the beauty of what we do. to have 4 of these generations, and where it all began was with my father.
Tyler Schmidt. Jerry Schmidt is my father.
Nathan Sweetest, this is my grandpa.
What a thrill. What a thrill to have my sons work here, my grandsons work here. That's it.
This is my life. This is 3 generations of metal sculptors, sculptors, I should say. What we have here this is the upbringing of the 3 generations. It could be my father, my grandfather, and this is me in the middle, like they're holding me together in being the 3 generations of metal sculptors that we are. This is what I came out with.
We have firework right here. This is my first ever reward. Like, I won this in a contest and I became first place, and I got a reward for it, and I was like 8, 9 years old, and yeah, this is it.
As far as the skills that you've learned, where did you learn those skills at, and are you passing those skills down to your son, to your grandson, to your granddaughter?
Yes, I do pass them down. My father worked with Smith & Obie. He was an engineer. I got into, with the welding part, watching my father weld. I became an iron worker with Local 17. My son is now a journeyman iron worker with Local 17. So it all comes together. It's the steel, the measuring, the torching. Everything is all in one. It's all in one packet. Nate comes in and at his early age, he reads. I'm teaching him how to read a tape measure. I'm teaching him how to be safe. Safety is the most important part of working in this type of atmosphere.
Hey, Papa, what are these tools that you use?
Well, we work with a welding helmet. We have our welding helmet and our MIG welder. We have our MIG welder with the ground, our sanding discs, a sander. We have our grinder here. We have all of our nuts and bolts, just like what pretty well everybody uses out in a fab shop. We have our welder machine, our tools, just a lot of different things. Our plasma cutter, our torches, everything is pretty well set up. So, we fire it up and we go nuts, right? It's a very dirty occupation, but it's worthy to keep you working.
My father passed it down. My grandfather taught him, and where it was just welding, now we've taken it even further to welding and fixing things for people, or building things for people, and that's a good part about having your own business. It all starts from the beginning, and now this is where we are.
The trades are starting to come back, and when they come back, this world is going to just explode. But we have to train their minds before they get out of school.
The National Arts Program, that's what they got me in, and I won first place in the National Arts Program.
What challenges can a family business face? If there are folks that are looking to go into a family business, whether it be kind of in the area of arts or other or other industry, other business, what would you say they just kind of be aware of if you're going into business as a family?
Don't give up. You can't give up. As hard as things come, if you have a goal, you have to set that goal. You can't think that it's not. To say that it's not going to work because you have a momentary, it doesn't work. It will work, and everybody has to be on the same page, and you have to listen to the feedback that you have from the people that you're working with, being your son, or your wife, or whatever. If everybody thinks the same, then it's going to succeed. It will succeed. You have to, get the websites out there. You have to promote yourself. You cannot rely on other people to promote you. You know, what you're doing for me is I so thank you. You know, but how did this happen? Is I seen you working with one of my friends. I called you and you gratefully came out to do our business. Jerry Schmidt, I am American Trade.
If you like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. And please don't forget to share with at least 6 people.